Okay, we're all watching.
All the men I did get to know, every single man of them has filled me with but one desire, to lift my hand and bring it smashing down his face. So this quote was written at the end of the book. It's not that. Yeah. There's two.
Look at that. Misogynist ether pad.
It's not that one.
There's another one under that.
Just copy and paste it, girls.
It
It is this one.
No, it's the other one under that.
One day. No problem.
Yeah.
One day you hit me with a heavy stick?
Yeah.
All right.
So one day he hit me with his heavy stick until the blood ran from my nose and ears. So I left, but this time I did not go to my old house. I walked through the streets with swollen eyes and a bruised face, but no one paid attention to me. That was when Firdaus was married to that 16-year-old man named Sheikh Mahmoud. He raped her, hit her, and first she ran to her uncle's house, who got mad at her, and that second time when he hit her, she just left. She ran away. So this sentence shows violence, violence from men towards women. The word heavy stick is word choice. It shows that Mahmoud is very violent towards Firdaus. She's only 18 and he's 16. And then there is hyperbole and imagery. You can imagine what's happening, how bad it is, how violent her husband is with the blood running from her nose and ears. And Firdaus ran away as she doesn't even trust her uncle. And with the word swollen eyes, bruised face, shows imagery, and there's a lot of adjectives describing her. And again, it shows how violent the man is. And second, it shows also how Firdaus in this moment has a lot of courage. She seems to be an independent woman as she runs away and just not going back to her uncle's house. She laughed and she feared more her husband than walking through the streets. And then
Okay, so the either part won't connect, so I can post the quote. So I'll just read the second quote out. It's under it's about men. So the quote is it's on page 9 if you have a book. All my life I have been searching for something that would fill me with pride.
Turn on the heat. Say noon. I don't want to interrupt you. You could smell it.
yeah.
All you do is turn it off. You physically turn on the heat.
My legs are warm.
On this one too. Girls, this is really going well. I think got computer issues, heater issues. Can someone who reads Mandarin come over here and just make sure this isn't going to blow hot for the next until December?
Yeah,
Mandarin, Chinese. Pretty good though, like when somebody's having a presentation and things aren't going well. All right, start all over. All right, we got it.
Okay, on page 9, if you have a book, please follow along. All my life, I have been searching for something that would fill me with pride, make me feel superior to everyone else, including kings, princes, and rulers. She says that her whole life has been a quest to prove herself and prove that she was as good as men, as good as kings, princes, and rulers were designated male role, and she was as good as, or if not better, than the men who control the world around her. And so then she just so just this whole quote is about the quest and how she feels that she's no longer afraid of anyone that's more of anything that's more powerful than her, and she just feels superior to them after when she's talking to she's giving the interview. She's just talking about like her whole life. She's on a quest, and then now she finally feels superior than them. And these are people who are control our world, like kings, princes, and rulers. And, okay, so the next quote is under religion. It's on page 37. It says, "To the university, to a place where she will be sitting side by side with men, a respected sheik and a man of religion like myself, sending his niece off to mix in the company of men." So there is use of repetition in this quote with she's saying men again and again, and it's really blunt and straightforward, like the culture of it, like the culture in that time, and there's the style influenced in the writing is like really powerful because it's going against what Frida as a woman wants. And there's word choice in that because there's just the word men is said a couple of times. And then the next quote. Okay, so the next quote is under independence and power. "I became a very successful prostitute. I was paid highest price, and even men of great importance competed for favors, but I refused to go." So when she finally sets out on her own as a prostitute, she learns what it means to have something that people desire, and people like paid the highest price, and she learned that she can command higher and higher prices and just deny people just for the sake of it, and she's exercising the power on men which they used to do on her. So as a prostitute, she possessed the power and that money to do that, and she also that was the time when she realized that she attained real power. And the last quote is just under women. So, "My mother was not a criminal. No woman can be a criminal. To be a criminal, one must be a man."
So that's at the end of the book when Firdaus is still the narrator and she's still telling her story. It's when like she just had a sexual act with the prince and she tells him that she killed a man. The prince now calls the police, and this is when she says that sentence to police man. So here Sadowee uses to introduce another criminal woman and man as a reference to gender-specific language. What she means is that men are bad since women cannot be criminals. She uses gender-specific language in order to show that women of manners are well-educated, polite, and sane, while she shows that men are brutal, aggressive, as it is what she shows throughout the whole book. Every time Firdaus meets a man, he always ends up either beating her or taking her as an object instead of a woman. In the book, it is clearly shown that women are not equal to men, and this is why the author used gender-specific language. It helped empowering women, as this sentence shows it. Women are not criminals. It is the men that are criminals. Repetition is used in this sentence to emphasize the fact that it is the men that are criminals. And in conclusion, gender-specific language is used to empower women as they are the ones silenced in reality.
Are we done?
Oh, you are just dead. Anybody got any questions? Anybody got anything Brian needs to write down? Fill this out here. See if you can answer something or bring. Doesn't have to change anything. If we have the PDF, and some of you do, and if you were to take your little finger in the book or whatever and go through page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and like, okay, this word I would associate as, or if I had to do like a little Venn diagram, girls and boys, I'd put this word in the girls section or this word in the boys section. Then Command F it and see how many times that word pops up, and is it always associated with one or the other. Then what we end up having is, and this is why yours was kind of complicated. did perfectly fine, and we learned something about the text, and I'm cool with that. Yours is precarious because what it really is, it's a part 1 presentation on a part 4 text, and that's not really kind of working with the course. I've had people do part 1 FOAs on the lit bit, and I'm really cool with that because no one's ever going to grade it. And I just put something on the sheet that says, you know, language, gender, language. That's all I put. Gender-specific language, FOA, 28 out of 30. Like that criminal word, you know, Command F criminal, and see how many times and how physically close it is to male characters. So what happens is, okay, criminals, do we generally associate always as being men? Probably. And that says something about, you know, what men do or the role they have to take. But are there other words that she might have twisted or used out of context, and now because of the very specific things that are happening in this text, are those words now a male-oriented word or a female-oriented word? If I said prisoner, anytime you say male or female. You watch TV, what would you say? No, I don't mean Orange is the New Black, because I love that. You watch like Discovery Channel, prisoner, male or female? Yeah, male. The numbers are just astronomically male. But if you say prisoner, like literally here, there's a female. But there's all that metaphorical prisoner stuff, and there could be other words which she uses, which aren't conventionally female-related words, but because of the role, this very specific role these women are having to play in her world, now they have this sort of female connotation. So, once again, the notes are going to work. It's going to help us with all sorts of analysis for this text. But that being said, it's a little bit different. Melanie was getting there with the criminal thing. If that's something you feel you can do, it would potentially be a pretty interesting FOA, non-creative presentation business. It's almost like, you know, it's very quantifiable. This word shows up 6 times into this relationship under these characters, and it's all the characters who have done these shared things. All right. Especially look at, like, compare Sharifa to her little buddy at the grammar school. Are there words that are the same? Because they're very different characters. Does she use them in the same sense for them? And is that okay? That sort of thing. Look how the words she used to describe that aunt or her uncle's wife. And do we see the same words with other females? Or does she describe her with the same words she would use to describe men because she falls under the bad person Venn diagram, and all those are essentially men except maybe her. All right, thanks, girls. Now, we don't have to mess with these 2 desks in the middle because the microphone will stay there. But if we can carefully see to it that the rest of the desk looks something like this. Yay! Confusion.
Where's the whiteboard and the diamond?
Well, yeah, you're right. There, the couch doesn't show up. So those 3 desks right there, it's a horseshoe with those 3 desks just the way. So we're physically looking at it like that. There you go, Sam. Well done. Yes. These need to come in a bit. This one's right here. These can come in. 12.
It's a far away.
12 inches. There. These. There we go. Those 2 can come in. And that one come in. And those go in that way. So we're all on camera.
Why is it?
Almost done it. So before we begin, I need for you to take. You could have a declarative statement. I'm okay with that. Should be phrased in the form of a question. Give me 3 of your questions. And you can put them all in the same bit. So last name, comma, first name. Put all, just copy and paste everything you got in the business on the grade 12 standard submission.
Question.
Yep.
Yes.
And they could have, I mean, obviously want most of us to be open-ended. They could have been closed-ended if you literally have a question you need answered. There it is. I'm missing something. Yep.
Yeah.
Working individually.
If you work in a group, so that is a one person.
Yeah. Just make sure you put all the names in the. Or you can put the names in the business as long as I can see. Why y'all typing so much? Y'all aren't writing questions, are you? Just got a command A, command. Why are you typing so much? Typing anything. All right.
Yeah.
Weird. Cool. All right. So we all seem to be very, very, very gravitating towards the Lang and Lit, which I'm okay with. If we were just to look at this on any level, not even like our course, I think inherently people would have questions which we could be like, oh, that sounds like Lang and Lit. Sometimes we talk in here, you can go, oh, it sounds so T, okay. Or sometimes it's psych. That's what humanities, the psych humanities should do. You might know the answers, you might not, but how much of that text, if we're talking about the video, is indicative or reflective of those 2 artists? I will say 3 artists, or the group, if you want to call it that. And we could argue that. And how often are videos any sort of indication of the artist's intention or purpose? Who has an answer? If you have to give it a number, there's no right or wrong. Percent, Or an example? What did you get about that text? You think you got? Could be anything. All right. I like how you guys are like analytical robots now. I can't. We can't be like, it can't be like, oh, it was dumb. We can't do that. You can do that. Juxtaposition. Okay, I like that. What do you mean juxtaposition?
There's like a black face, a black girl, and then she puts on makeup. It's turns white.
All right. So I think that we can talk about, does it even just have a point? Or is it just that looks cool? And how much of things which are allegedly artistic are just that? In IB art, you should be forced to justify everything. So none of it's like, I just like that. Some people work backwards and just make a bunch of crap and then make some backstory. Which it doesn't generally fail. So Brian, do you think that that was some physical juxtaposition or is it some conceptual juxtaposition? That there's something larger there, that figurative?
I think there's both.
In what sense?
Maybe in terms of like race, visual, juxtaposition.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Are you okay with that in 2000, whatever that was, 12 or 15? All right. Can you think of something else which is equally racially sensitive in terms of culture and pop culture? You see 8 million thousand things on the internet every day. Can you think of anything of like which is culturally sensitive, which is supposed to be artistic, and so it's okay? And does that make it okay? If we do things under an artistic lens, can we be offensive? You say yes. Are you easily offended? Probably not. Then why should someone else be? Why would it be okay for them to be offended by something if it's just art?
People are usually like offended older generation.
All right, older generation. Okay, I agree with that. Who would take offense to this? You do. All right, cool. Tell us why. I love it. Because you're South African? Okay. Obviously, it's a loaded question. I don't think we have any South African kids. So that's good.
International school, it's like more offensive to us.
Really? That's cool. Why?
Because you should respect other cultures.
You're the king of inculcation today, right? I'm a risk taker. Learn a profile. Learn a profile. Because I was reading somebody out of the 14 letter recommendations I have to write. Got crazy. Sorry, Wawawuro. So, God, fuck it. Somebody's like, I think one of my strengths is I've been to so many schools. I have a keen understanding of other cultures, and therefore I can quickly understand people quickly and get what, who they are and what they're about. Which sounds a bit like the opposite of Brian's. I'm from international school. I should be easily offended. That's cool. All right, completely different question. How different is your level of offense or other side tolerance from your parents? All right, so you're more offended or more tolerant? Because okay. Who can give a number? I am 130% more tolerant than my parents. Or 200. You're twice as tolerant. Equally as tolerant. Wow. Okay. That's cool. So it's like a positive, negative, like glass is full, glass is empty.
They just don't express when they're tolerant, but they might express when they're offended. Cool. Who's been surprised about their parents' level of tolerance or surprised about their parents' level of intolerance? Which one, tolerance or intolerance? Seriously? Okay, you don't have to share. I think mine's tolerance. I expect my parents to be like something. It's like, oh, really? Just because of like, where they're from and what they do. I think we just sort of might pass judgment on our parents based on one thing they said or just where they're from. And how different is your existence right now than your mom's existence when she was 17? No, I mean in terms of tolerance and understanding all the stuff that, you say you're on the same level as her in terms of tolerance. I knew that, so I was kind of hoping you'd say it. How much do you think that has to do with that? What about her cousins? She has cousins, I'm assuming. And were they in international schools? Do you think they're as tolerant as your mom? Okay, probably not. I know some Japanese people there. Awesome, but they're like, yeah, he's like the most germane intolerant person ever. Why do you hate them? I don't know. I just hate them. Okay. All right. So Brian says he should be offended. Who says I'm not offended by this because I went to international school? Yeah, me. Yeah. Okay. Is it because of prior knowledge? Do you have some sort of insight? Oh, so it's an intuition. You just know this is. What do you know about it? Which tells you shouldn't be upset?
I see how it could offend other people, but I think that's exactly why it should be offensive.
Ooh.
Like you don't understand it, and there's so many people that obviously don't understand that weird shit.
Yeah. Read the comments.
And they're doing things that obviously there is no explicit purpose for.
So good.
So it's offensive. I find it offensive.
I completely get that. I do. That's really interesting. What do you think, Stan?
I think I have like a different opinion on the video because I feel like it's not really offensive in any way. Okay, maybe it is offensive.
Yeah, it's like if you were to say it anyway, yeah, we're like,
I mean, but then again, like I think their ultimate purpose, like Celine says, there's no like explicit purpose to why they're doing it. But like I feel like if you look at it from like a music perspective, it's something that's very different from like what local music is, and I think that's what they're trying to like go at.
okay.
To bring in something different, to show that people shouldn't go by the norms, and just innovate something new.
I like that. Two very contrary points, both very accurate. All right, so what Soyun's kind of asking is, or stating, as an artist, do you have a level of responsibility in terms of how people interpret your message? Or should be like, this is my creative drive, this is what I'm going to do. You get it or you don't get it. And if you have those lyrics open, and don't open them. But they literally say that in the song. Say, if you haven't gotten it by now, forget it, or something like that. Who has a level of responsibility in terms of, in a public figure, presenting their ideas in a way which should not be offensive? Journalism? What's that? Oh, so in that case, the people who sign off on it. Wow. Okay. Legally responsible, maybe. Journalism, artist label. Who else has a level of responsibility? Or do you say no one has responsibility with that?
Everyone has people
So some sort of organizational thing?
well, like anyone who's even it could be like someone
do we hold celebrities accountable for the stuff they do and don't do? Absolutely. We scorn them for the smallest thing. Why do you think we do that? Is that it? You're so sweet and righteous. You're just like, it's your responsibility. I love it. Because we can. Is it a critical thing? Is it a jealousy thing? Name one celebrity you absolutely hate. Why do you hate Bieber?
Like, he does stupid things without a reason. Driving under influence. Like,
Oh, he had a reason. He had to get home from the bar. I mean, it makes sense. All right, so he does stupid stuff. So, but doesn't everybody kind of do, on some level, that could be completely different, but doesn't everybody do stupid stuff?
I think he should be held accountable because he is Justin Bieber. Like, he has put himself out there to be known, and he's obviously affecting a bunch of like little teen girls who are like looking up to him, and that's what they're gonna see.
Cool. So all right, so you're saying celebrities and people who have some sort of fan base have a certain expectations for behavior.
It's actually kind of why people got so upset about the Miley Cyrus thing, because her fan base, because of the animal character, they all really, really different.
No. Completely agree. I had a couple ninth graders write research papers last year on both those people. It's like, it was kind of cool because the research, we had them do research questions. The question was, has it increased their popularity? And they had to define popularity and what that meant. So it was like monetarily, yes, but popularity. All right. So who is also not offended by this? Margot, why are you not offended by this guy?
I think that I find it more entertaining than the red delicious because the kind of cutting who I am, like, when it comes to Latin.
So what do you like? Things that are what?
Like,
No, just like you, if that's, because of who I am, what are you like?
I don't know.
Scorner, she doesn't know. You should know.
No, I don't know. I find it like it's interesting to watch. I really like I did research, like more research on the band itself.
Did you?
And like I listened to a lot of other stuff, so watched a lot of other videos, and it became clear to me that they're not really. They're doing it more to like to get a response, not to like hate people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are lots of layers to it. So here's the thing. It's okay. The states are really cool about this. I kind of like that. Plagiarism and intellectual property rights are very big in the States. Wouldn't have like Bimbos, Microsoft, and stuff like we have here in China. It's awesome. But you can appropriate people's stuff as long as it's the name of entertainment and satire. So if you're satirical or if it's a parody, you can take people's stuff and do whatever you want with it and probably not get sued. So do we agree with that? Because that's kind of what you're saying. I'm not offended with that because it's a joke. On the same kind of mentality, I guess, it's not stealing as long as it's a joke. Or there's some educational value in it, which is something else. See, we haven't heard from you, guy. You're our wild card. You know that, right? Every group has a wild card. You're the wild card. What do you think about this guy?
I don't think it's too offensive.
Okay. Why not?
It's a joke in like.
Do we know it's a joke? How about this? What if you're one of those people who look like that and you're like, wait, it's a joke? Do you know what a juggalo is? Are those guys for real? They are?
I mean, yeah.
What about the band? Is the band for real?
Yeah. Oh.
So Insane Clown Posse really take themselves serious. But see what I'm saying? But now it's like wrestling. It is like wrestling. The people up there kind of know it's not real, but maybe the people watching don't. Does my hair know it's real? You know she likes wrestling, right? But does she know it's fake?
She thinks it's real.
She really thinks it's for real. Or it's okay that it's for us to support things even though we know they're fake. Who watches reality TV? Who thinks that's 100% real?
Some.
I like that. Some. So how much of this is like that? How much of this is like, okay, they really think this, or it's just there's no way that's.
It's like, I actually think it's mostly real. It's just maybe some of the parts that they show are more like, they're like chosen. So it looks more interesting when like the whole.
Would you get a tattoo to maintain some sort of persona? I don't like that tattoo, but I get why it's funny, or maybe it's going to be part of this character I'm playing. Because there's some pretty crappy tattoos. I mean, let's be honest. You got a lot of money. You can be okay with that. It looks like they did it themselves. Really late at night with some sewing needles. Okay. What about the wrestling thing? Who likes wrestling? Who's ever liked wrestling at some point in their life? Just us? Come on. Loved it. You knew it was fake.
Yeah.
All right. At what point in time did you know it was fake?
When the guy throws a punch and it's like.
Yeah. All right. Why do people pretend not to know it's fake? How about that? What's that?
Because it's entertaining.
All right. Is it self-serving?
Yeah.
To deny its falsehood in order to enjoy it? All right. How do you think people in South Africa react to this? Did you look it up? Okay, that's fine. What do you think?
Or just like confused by it.
Confused.
Is it supposed to like picture like be mocking us, or it could be?
All right, how about this? What would they, why would they be mad? And now you can kind of try to, even though we can't empathize, I think we can sympathize with some of this. How about this? The only music to ever come out of Korea is K-pop. That's true, correct? Oh, of course it is. Name me the biggest K-pop band ever. Honestly, I don't know. I should know this. There's too many of them, isn't there? Give me a big one. Big Bang? Are they, are you okay with that band? I don't know, pick one. You're okay with them. Are they representative of your people? You say no. So how are they not representative of Koreans, but you're okay with that? So if everybody outside your country knows about them, but they don't necessarily represent everybody inside the country, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Would South Africans be okay with them because now they're famous and all this stuff? Or is that a bad thing because maybe people now think South Africans look and act like them? You're talking international school person talk. You're not talking. All right, so you can't represent the whole a mean of a population.
I don't think anyone would look at that video and think that they're trying to accurately portray the population.
They're trying to accurately portray a subset of a culture. Their T-shirts say it. They even have a name for it. I have no idea how popular that culture is. Anybody know any Australians who live in Australia? What do they call? What's that term for Australian rednecks? Digging. It's one of those. Ask any of the Aussie teachers; they all know it. And they talk about it, and you see it on TV. But it's like, well, What percent of the population is that? I have no idea. I'm assuming it's quite large the way they go on about them. Find out for Chris. What do we call an Australian redneck? That's it. How about this? Who has been to the southeastern part of the United States of America? Yeah. The flags are. Yeah, the offensive flags. The offensive flag people. Raise your hand. Just us. Okay. Philippe, you're a world traveler. 4 wheels. Some trucks. What percentage of population in the offensive flag states are bigoted, narrow-minded rednecks? Confederate flag waving yeehaws. Give me a number. Good Lord, that's really low. You're like the anti-stereotyping person. Okay, 5%. And they're fighting to not give up the Confederate flag in a lot of these states. It's much more than 5%. Okay. Let's go back to some of these questions. Give me all these part 2. Give me all these like paper 2 questions. They're strange. How the author at least 2 literary works portray social groups. I don't know, Crystal. That's a different thing. Your question is obscure. Okay. What level do artists have in terms of responsibility? Write it down. Answer that question. And then I'll ask you the same kind of question, but I'll make it athletes. How responsible should athletes be in terms of how they're viewed in a public eye? Then I go back to the first smart thing I heard today was about this just being different, and that's okay. Really think about this. If this video had never been released, and some fan had taken the song as an MP3 and shoved the record album on it, like we see lots of times when we look up music on YouTube, how many hits would it have if it didn't have this video? Think about it. How many people come here for the visual aspect and less for the music? I got a friend, he's a teacher here, I won't mention his name. He's a weirdo when it comes to like music. He doesn't know any music which doesn't have videos attached to it. Strange. Tom McCarthy. Not the most anti-McCarthy thing ever. So it's like, I don't get it. I get it, but it's like, I don't, you know. All right. Chris, should public persona or individuals be responsible for their behavior? It's pretty easy. Yes or no? Why?
Because they need to be aware of how their ability to.
But why should we hold them accountable for that?
Because they make themselves a public figure. That's what.
Why are public figures responsible for us? It's not part of their job description, is it?
I think it's part of like a ethic.
Part of a what?
It's like an ethical kind of thing. because it's not like written, but then they care about how the public portrays it.
All right. Ethics. What do you think there, Mel? Should stars be responsible for the behavior? You say yes?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're saying stuff, so they're responsible for what you do.
We all are at some level, but why do we hold them more accountable?
I don't know. Popularity, I guess.
What does that mean?
They represent.
Like everyone knows them, so you do one thing like everyone's going to.
That sounds like we're the jerks in this. And they sound like victims. It's not their fault.
They represent a culture, like a culture of the world, that they do something they represent the culture.
Okay, what if you really don't represent much of anything like Bieber? What'd you say? Kill him? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you know he's from Canada. How do you know he's from Canada? Because he's so African American? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, man, Toronto. Okay. Is that North Side? Is that even a place? North Side? North Side? I mean, do any Canadians, especially French Canadians, blame the Justin Bieber for misrepresenting their Quebecer culture? He is technically Quebecer, isn't he? His family heritage. But he might have some. Toronto. Who knew that? Ooh, the believer is like, I didn't know that. Oh, in 6th grade. Leave me alone. He was born on the 4th of
March 1st.
March
1st.
Oh,
Same as Archie.
Okay. Believers are coming out of the closet. All right. So how about this? How many Canadians like Bieber? Because this does work with our question. Is he more popular in other cultures than he is at home? Why?
Well, before when he went like more reserved, like he was Canada, Canadian people had pride in him.
Ah, so he's lost his heritage.
Because like during his like whole rebel phase, he and like the Canadian Prime Minister signed like they had like a little signing thing, and he wore like a ridiculous outfit to it, and the Prime Minister was like all dressed up, and he was wearing like overalls with like this yellow shirt. He was looking pretty bad, and then that's when at that point like you could see like Canada bashing on him because he was like not respecting the Prime Minister. So like, they had pride in him until like.
Did anybody see anything about Lionel Messi going to Africa a couple weeks ago? Probably not. Did you? Did you hear about it? He just went. He was invited by some FA and he did some charity thing. But they gave him a really hard time because he got off the plane wearing shorts and like some t-shirt, which was a very expensive t-shirt. It was like, well, what do you expect from a 26-year-old football player on a plane? Should he know better?
No.
I'd say yes. You say no. Why no? It's like all of a sudden when people have money and things, we expect them to have some sort of smarts.
I feel like it's like their own personal choice on how they want to be viewed.
I agree with that. Should you dress up when you meet the head of state?
Yes.
Yes. So which one is it, Crystal? Yes or no?
I mean, I think it differs for everyone. Some people think that you don't.
I think like public figures when they like for example Justin Bieber, he went out there, he was like probably this prime minister will not like how I dress, but he cares about his fan base and he knows that his fan base will like it. So probably like messy guy, he was like my fan base, which is majority of like young people, they'll get my dressing, and that's all I care about because I just want to maintain my fan base.
Awesome. So it goes back to I'm going to do what I want to do. All right, great. Going back to the whole artistic thing, when do you cease to do what you want to do as an artist? And you've already kind of answered that. When you feel the need to not upset people, when you feel morally or ethically obligated, cool, you might switch things. Or, I think Crystal said it. Who said the one about the people, your record label? Who said that? When you're just like, okay, you're going to do this, but you can't do that. If you see them play live in the States, the lyrics are completely different. So they've had some conversation, they agreed. Right. And when you want to make money. Have you ever heard of the term starving artist? Here's the thing, if you are a strong musician and you're a good-looking young man in the States and you're in a band going nowhere, just start singing about Jesus. There are millions of kids out there, their parents will not let them listen to anything unless it's from the Christian music section of whatever it is. Any pop song, you don't even listen. If you're a foreign kid, it's like, that sounds like this. You wouldn't even know what they're saying because it's just a standard pop song with some religious overtones. So, as an artist, what is wrong? To upset people or to go against the actual creative drive? And how do you find art or artistic expression? And going back to the video, should you be mad at them? Maybe the bit is like the director's like, okay, do this offensive thing with your hand when you say that. He's like, oh, okay. Is that all him or is it somebody else? Because it's going to be more provocative, more shocking, and potentially sell more. Once again, if that video didn't have all this in here, how many hits would it have? I'd say about, as soon as you listen to this, half the people are like, this is interesting. Other half want to turn it off. Because it's not like, ooh, where's this going? It's just, it's immediately, this is really, really annoying or this is kind of cool. I don't know if this grows on people. I mean, you have to have a little bit of like curiosity about it for it to grow on you. It certainly grows on you. It's like a fungus. Who would find themselves listening to the song, just the song, outside after this? You. Stan, Phil, myself, and oddly enough, Brian, Mr. Only because I don't want to offend everybody else. Because I'm internationally minded. We're broke up. So 5 of you, interesting. Like I said, my wife absolutely hates this song. Turn that off. Look at the video. The video's cool. All right. Let's look at this real quick. You need to go to a Excel spreadsheet in our business. Is it an Excel spreadsheet? I think it is. There's a folder called Lang Part 1 and 2 Vine. Open that guy. Should be a spreadsheet there. Let's go group sign up Lang Vines. What you need to do is simply put your name next to your partner's name under the column A. That's it. So it might say, oddly enough, you just say it like I always do, Crystal and Wendy. That's it. I don't think we'll have a group of 3 today. Do the math. You tell me. Oh, Maggie's not here, so we might have a group of 3. I don't remember how this works. Should. You guys count on it.
You can find it. It looks like this. I should see you on it. It's like this. No, Sahil, you're not in the other class.
Yeah, I didn't write that.
Stop it, Sahil. Respect my culture. Yeah, you guys are. Great. This is better than, I don't know, World of Warcraft.
I don't understand.
Open up the link on 12 links to the top. It's not titled. I don't need a space though. I need Justin and William to be 8 and 8 and Chris and Stan to be 10 or 9, whatever it is. No space. There you go. Thanks. So there's no 1 or 2. Are we an odd number? You guys can know.
What number are we?
If your name's up there next to somebody else, you're good. And if you don't have a buddy and you're still looking around, let us know. Whose name's not on the left over there? Raise your hand. Margo, jump in there. Add yourself. Who's good? Chris, who you working with? Doesn't say that.
What?
You could work by yourself. Complete independent. Yeah. So I got 10 groups? No 2? Yeah. Look at the directions. Look at the directions. It says 7 seconds maximum. Must have appropriate.png, IBTL, blah, 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 parts 1 and 2 binds. So there's an image in there. It's in PNG. It's in that folder. Depending on which one you get, you'll know which one you get based on the topic I'm about to assign. Business can no larger be, like my Yoda syntax today, K600. First name of your buddy, first name of yourself, doesn't matter. It's either part 1 or part 2 bind, September 2015, there's a Dropbox. And you will write a rationale. This 7-second video pertains to my topic in this way. I'll watch it. It should make sense to me, but you'll have about a 5 to 6 sentence paragraph which will justify why it makes sense. Now, if you look below, we have the influence of government policy. But that's either part 1 or part 2. You can check the guide and figure it out. All of this is a language-focused video. The emergence of new vocabulary from the language of groups. The ways in which jargon and professional language are used. The ways in which language affirms identity. The status given to standard and non-standard forms of a language. The status of minority languages in the multilingual societies. Gender construction through language. The role of editing specifically in news bulletins and or websites. Use of persuasive language. Documentaries by itself. Textual bias in sports. Ooh. Popular culture, specifically soap operas. 7 seconds. I will see this topic represented in a 7-second video. You will justify why that 7-second video makes sense in the form of a rationale. You can create the rationale in anything that you can give me a link. It could be Evernote. It could be an online Word document. You'll put that next to your names when that's done. You can go ahead and give it to me now on the standard 12 submission form. I'm about to give you a topic right now. This doesn't make any sense. Where's my list? I can't read stuff. Does it say list? What does it say list? Ah, list. List randomizer. Ugh. 3, 2, 1. No, I don't want to work. It's working. It says it down there. What's wrong?
I'm just not up there.
There was no 2.
There do
Trust me, I got 10 minutes for this thing kicks in, so no problem. I don't know. Why is it doing this? Ah. Ah. Fine. I'll just randomize it over here myself. So random. I've never done this to you, I promise. When I used this all the time, like with middle school kids, I would just write the thing ahead of time, copy it, and go over there and go 3, 2, 1, and just hit paste. Never click the thing at the bottom ever. All right, here we go. I don't know these numbers. It'll work. 4, 6, 8, 12. I don't remember what they are, so if you don't like it, my bad. 10. Pretty random, actually. 7. I think there's 13. There's a 13. 13. There's no 13. 2. That's your top. Ah, no wonder I didn't see it. 5. There you go. There's your topics. If it doesn't make sense, ask me. Some sexual, yes. Language bias in sports. So like in terms of like newscasting sports or news reporting, journalism reporting of sports, bias.
What is the name of the guy that beat it?
7-second video. We will see your. Now, I love the fact that you generate some ideas. Go ahead and identify your topics between part 1 and part 2. You're going to make a video. Record that any way you need to. Do you understand? I need to see the title physically in the video, and the title's in the form of an image I've given to you. If you don't know how to shove images into video, some of you did, because you did that with your awesome extra videos. Look at our folder. You'll see 2 PNGs. Sorry, it's my OneDrive. I'm doing well today. They're there. You need to show. Download these two guys. Pretty sure that's the part one. I don't want to see any of that white background stuff either, so if you have to get rid of that, get rid of that. .png. So we got some problem solving in terms of technology. You have some very specific requirements. Your video cannot be more than 600K. Who knows how to change the size of a video? Tell us how you do it.
Some software and picture. Put in the size you want.
Problem solving. How do you do it? Problem solving. Anybody else know how to change the size of a video? You can, but if you have to shove something in there, how are you going to shove something in there? 600K is super small. It's small, but it's only 6 seconds. Hit Command Spacebar on your computer and hit Convert and see what wants to pop up. Any video convert, yeah. And so you can tell it how big you want it to be. It's easy. It's on your computer. It's on your computer. Who knows how to shove an image into a video? iMovie. Yeah, it works. You drag it in there. It's called Picture in a Picture. You can show it where you want it to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. But I need all of you to stop what you're doing.
Pretty sure 7 minutes left in class. I'm pretty sure.
7 minutes left.
7 minutes left. Upgrade. You have 7 minutes. That's 1 minute per second of your video. You can do it. There's 2 of you.
Wait, so we're gonna have to basically like this one at
I didn't say about vocab. I want to watch your video and be like, oh, that does make sense with the language bias in sports journalism. What's your topic?
Ours is language.
Easy. Read the directions. We have 6 minutes left. Documentaries, that was very vague, but we've done 2 documentaries, really 3 documentaries in the course. What type of language-specific qualities do documentaries have? And you can focus on anything with that. So, like, what's an over or underlying element with documentaries, which should always have in terms of language use and presentation of concept through language? It's really open, but you can, I mean, if I give it to you, you'd be like, oh, that makes sense, but I don't want to give it to you. Think about any documentary you've seen in the last year. What did it do in terms of the documentation language, not like the subjects? That's different. We watched one in our class like 3 weeks ago. What was specific about the language being used there, or at least the presentation of language? All right, the sex slave, the frontline documentary, right? What did it have? The voiceover stuff? What do you mean by voiceover stuff? Keep going and focus on that, because that is a quintessential element of that. The narrator must be what? Objective. So the words he chooses should allegedly be objective. But if you come out just narration and with the voice, that's a different thing. It's cool. You might watch a documentary and be like, that's weird. Because the voiceover, or as you put the narrator, Feder, doesn't do certain things. What does a narrator always have to sound like or do with the documentary? There you go. authoritative, right? Knowledgeable, and that would work with that objectivity. Or it might even work with bias. Because once it fills that preset criteria, right, you trust that voice because it's like that voice. And they all have a certain sort of tone, or it could even be non-specific accent, you know. So that's it. You can put that voice into the rationale.
You could create some kind of video with some like that, and you would understand that you understand that language element factor. You got 5 minutes. What's your time? What you girls got? You boys got an idea. You got 4 minutes. Margo, what you got? All right. This will dictate what you have to do between now and Tuesday. I'll give you 15 minutes and you get back. But what I really would like is that rationale to be kind of done, so that way you get back, you can just, I don't think you'll need the 15 minutes, but if you want to make it nice, you'll have time.